Is of yours. As we talk about a story on the sensitive topic, my kids suffered this. Save yours. It's a topic about teen dating violence, and we all must know basic thing about this in order to protect our kids. As far as the definition goes, it's an adverse childhood experience that affects millions of young people globally, including United States. And the only light about the issue is that this is preventable, and family, school, and communities have major role to play in preventing this. Dating violence can take place in person, online, or through technology. It's a type of intimate partner violence that can include multitudes of behaviors, including physical violence. It is when a person hurts or tries to hurt a partner by hitting, kicking, or using other types of physical force. Sexual violence, forcing or attempting to force a partner to take part in a sexual act or sexual touching when the partner does not consent to or is unable to consent or refuse. It also includes non physical sexual behaviors like posting or sharing sexual picture of a partner without their consent or sexting someone without their consent. And at this age, the concept of consent is missing in most of the kids. That's why they end up being perpetrator or a victim. Psychological aggression is again the use of verbal and non-verbal communication with the intent to harm a partner mentally or emotionally and exerting control over a partner. Stalking is a pattern of repeated unwanted attention and contact by a current or a former partner that causes fear or safety concern, not only for the individual victim, but also for someone close to the victim. Impacts of this. Teen dating violence profoundly impacts lifelong health, opportunity, and well being. Unhealthy relationship can start early with no expiry date. The good news is this violence is preventable and we can all help young people grow up violence free. In the United States, up to 19% of the teen experience sexual or physical dating violence. Half of them face stalking or harassment, and as many as 65% face psychological abuse, as per the data of US Department of Justice. Violence can happen when young people don't have the skills to manage conflicts, cope with the feeling of jealousy, and navigating rejection. These challenges have intensified with the rise of social media. Many teen social interactions now play out in public online spaces, adding the feeling of shame and fear of judgment to the mix. It is developmentally appropriate for young people to explore their sexuality. Yes, it is, but as a society, we still haven't figured out how to support that while preventing them from a risk of violence, says psychologist Sherry Hamby. When adolescence starts to explore dating, romance, and sex, a troubling number fall victim to violence. In the United States, up to 19% of the people constitute of this number. Teen dating violence seems to be overlooked not only in the scientific community but in the society at large. While sexual and relationship violence affecting other age groups, including adult college students and children, is a major focus of research and policy, while the while it comes to the case of teenager, that has not been the approach. Psychologists are now shining a light on the issue with research insights on risk and protective factors as well as new approaches to prevention that prioritize skills and strength over traditional psychological education, promising intervention including training on emotional regulation and communication skill, bystander prevention and peer-led programs, and digitally monitoring that can help predict teen risk for real-world violence. Those efforts not only protect teen during a critical period of development, but can reduce the risk for intimate partner violence. There's a lot to be excited about this because finally recognizing that with the right approach, we can intervene in a way that really changes the trajectory for young people. And then what is the short term and the long term effect? Violence in teen relationship can take several forms. It can involve stalking or harassment, spying on partner or monitoring private online activity without permission, or psychological aggression such as threat, insults, or attempts to control. In case of physical and sexual violence, one partner may physically harm another, force them to engage in acts against their will or share intimate photos without consent. Estimates vary regarding the prevalence of teen dating violence. According to the data from CDC's Youth Risk Behavior Society, about 1 in 12 teens experience physical dating violence, about the same number face sexual dating violence. Other studies suggest rates may be higher, especially when accounting for psychological forms of abuse. In one of the survey, ages 14 to 21, 15% of females and 43% of the males reported being victim of at least one of the type of dating violence, while 50% of the females and 35% of the males reported perpetuating at least one type of the dating violence. Research increasingly indicates that much of the violence in teen relationship is mutual or perpetuated by both partners, although girls face higher risk of sexual violence than do boys. In an analysis of nearly 10,000 teens from the UK's millennial cohort study, teens who experienced sexual violence between age 14 and 17 had worse mental health at 17, especially they had more psychological distress and were more likely to report self-harm in the past year, including attempt to suicide. In the long run, involvement with dating violence in adolescent predicts IPV in adulthood, as well as other high-risk behaviors such as drug and alcohol use, to a systematic review of 38 studies led by Lancet. Teen dating violence can be prevented, especially when there's a focus on reducing factors as well as fostering protective factors, and when teens are empowered through family, friends, and others, including role models such as teacher, coaches, mentors, and youth group leaders, to lead healthy life and establishing healthy relationships. It's important to create spaces such as school communities where the behavioral norms are not tolerant of abuse in dating relationship. The message must be clear that treating people in abusive way will not be accepted, and policies must enforce this message to keep students safe. Thank you very much. I hope this video helps you.